Your business is an empty box. Here's why. My favorite uncle, his name is Sam Stevens. He's coming back into town this weekend, and it got me thinking about one of my favorite stories from him. And it was some advice that he was giving another one of his nephews, a guy named John. So John was in love with this girl, who by all counts was absolutely beautiful. She was gorgeous. So John was in love, he was just crazy about her. So one day he asked Sam, he said, well, what do you think about her? Tell me your opinion, what do you think? And he's really hyped up about it, and he's so excited about this girl. So Sam starts telling him a story. He says, okay, you know how when you get a present and it's all wrapped up and it just looks beautiful, right? It's got this wrapping paper, it's got ribbons and bows, and it just looks pristine. You love the way it looks, right? John's like, okay, yeah, sure. He said, well, you think that there's going to be something great inside that box because of how great it looks on the outside. And John's like, yeah, sure. So now imagine how disappointed you'll be if you open up that box and when you open it up, there's nothing inside. It's just completely empty. John says, okay, sure, yeah. And Sam says, that girl you got right there, that's an empty box, man. You gotta stay away from that. And I always laugh when I think about that, but it can be really true in a lot of instances, and one of them's with our business. Where how could it be that sometimes we make ourselves so attractive on the outside that when customers are actually interacting with us, it feels like they're getting an empty box? Let's start with overselling. Could it be that our presentation is so wonderful and so pristine that what's inside, what we're actually able to deliver, pales in comparison? And I'll use my business as an example because that's the easiest one. I can say that I provide great value, that I give advice that no other CPA can, that the way we approach things is better, that for the value you're given, that our prices are very reasonable. But imagine if I said that I was going to cut down your tax bill by 95%, that I would charge you 10% of what any other CPA would, that if you call me at 2 in the morning, I'm going to answer every single time. If I just overpromise and get so heightened with what I'm telling you at the outset, it doesn't matter how good of a job I do, because there's no way possible that I can live up to the expectations that I set at the beginning, and expectations that I set up needlessly. There's no reason for us to have overly inflated presentations on the front end. We want to be honest and we want to be realistic with what we can actually do. The other way this could happen is underperforming. And none of us, or at least not those of us who are honest in our business, would do this intentionally. But even with the best of intentions, it's possible for us to start underperforming relative to what we've promised a client or what we know that we can actually provide to them. And usually the reason this happens is just because of time. We get in a hurry, so the quality suffers, or we're so focused on so many different things that there's no way that we can adequately focus on each client because we're just overworked. Example of this is contractors. Contractors have to be careful because some of their work is inside, some's outside. They have it to where certain weather conditions won't work, certain temperatures. So they usually have to line it up to where they've got a good number of jobs going at the same time and they have work lined up in the future in case it dries up. But contractors are also the ones that will drive us the most crazy because of that, because it always seems like their attention isn't fully focused on that one project because they're having to handle so many at the same time. It's still fine, it still gets done, but nobody's as happy with the interaction as they would have been if more time had been focused to each individual project. And the same thing can happen to us. None of us would go in there intentionally doing sloppy work, not responding to clients, not doing a great job. But if we're not careful, if we get overworked, then it's only natural that that's going to happen. All of us do really well to take stock of how we're presenting ourselves, especially relative to what we're actually able to deliver to the client. Because if the disparity is too large between the two, we're going to end up with clients who aren't too happy with the interaction and no one feeling like they really got what they were sold. Thanks guys, really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a like, give it a share, and give us a comment below so we know what you thought about it. I'm Micah Fraim.